Guys, it's the dude who talks and welcome. So 2018 has well and truly gone, but I kind of still want to reflect on it a little bit. So in my last video, I was talking about my favourite albums of 2018. So for this video, I wanted to talk about my favourite gigs of 2018. And I went to a lot of gigs last year, so I picked out 10 of my favourite gigs of last year, which aren't in any order whatsoever, because picking them out was hard enough as it was. And also, there won't be any festivals on this video, unfortunately. So, without further ado, let's get started. So, I'm a big fan of the Pixies, and I really like Surfer Rosa. I think it's a hugely influential album. So when they announced they were doing 5 dates at the London Roundhouse for the 30th anniversary of that album, I jumped at the opportunity to get a ticket without a thought of how I was going to get there or where I was going to stay afterwards. But none of that mattered because it was worth the trip, hands down. I really liked the venue, the Roundhouse. I was there last year on the last day of Desert Fest. So when they started, they put on a film which I don't think everyone really appreciated that much. It was about the album covers, which I thought was really interesting, even though it was a bit long, and I don't think they came on till 9 o'clock. I think quite a few of the crowd were getting a little bit antsy, but none of that mattered when they came on. Everyone cheered. And I think, as I've seen Pixies before live, is that they're really stellar live. They really bring their A game, and that night was no exception. They played the entire album in full, plus I think a cover of Lady in the Radiator. I think that's what it's called. It's off the film Eraserhead, which is really good. I recommend you should watch it. Anyway, I digress. So that's what I like about them, because there's no bullshit with the Pixies. They just play the songs. There's no awkward stage banter between each song. They're just there to play for you guys. And yeah, so I want to give props to the sassy, I think the people working behind the desk where you had to pick up the tickets. You needed like ID, and everyone was getting like really like irritable and being irritating with the ticket staff, and they were just like sassy as always. It was really good. I think one of them just went, "Congratulations, sir, you've won." And I just thought, wow, sass. Yeah, props to them. Now, I've seen Converge quite a few times, and they've always been at bigger venues, and I've always wished that I could see them at smaller venues just to get what they're about as a punk band. But anyway, none of that mattered last year when I watched them at Academy 2. They still put on an amazing, energetic performance, and Jacob Bannon and co, in my opinion, are guys that don't phone it in. They just play their fucking hearts out. And what made this gig better was that they had 3 amazing support acts with Crowbar, Grave Pleasures, and Vow. Fucking Vow, man. So, and also at the end of the gig with Converge, Jacob Bannon lobbed his microphone on a railing stand on the ceiling. Not a railing stand, you know where the lights are. Anyway, he lobbed it over there, and it was still hanging. And I thought, wow, that is fucking skillful. I hadn't heard much of Bellwitch before the actual gig, and it was the artwork of Mirror Reaper that drawed me in. And I bought the album, and I thought it was the most melancholic, beautiful thing that I've heard in a long time. So on the back of that, I decided to get a ticket for Bellwitch. And I was really excited for it, and they did not disappoint in the slightest live. What was really cool that everyone was like quiet during the performance, which added to the atmosphere, and I could just enjoy the music, and I could just actually close my eyes, and I could just embrace the music. It was really beautiful, and I wish I could have seen them perform the Mirror Reaper in its entirety in Dublin, which they did, I think, December. Gutted. Oh well. I last saw Earthless play at the Islington Mill in Salford, and they were supporting Russian Circles, and there was only like a handful of people there in attendance from what I can remember. It was like 5 or 6 years ago. So it was amazing to see that Earthless were playing to a sold-out crowd at the Deaf Institute. Yeah, the gig was absolutely banging. Everyone like in the crowd were like losing their shit, especially from where I was sat, where I was looking like, it's like the floor area. Everyone was losing their shit there. So, not only Black Heaven by Earthless was one of my favourite albums of 2018, Earthless are one of my favourite live acts of 2018. Now, I've been wanting to see A Perfect Circle live for many years now, and last year would be the opportunity I get to see them live. So what I liked about that night was that they made some of the weaker tracks on Eat the Elephant sound much better live, plus their choice of songs for the set list that night was incredible too, with songs from Murdy Noms, 13th Step, and a couple of covers as well. It also encouraged people not to film the entirety of the set through their mobile phones, which was a plus for me as well. Though I am actually kicking myself because the second time they played, which was last month, was they played Judith, which was a bastard. Watching Kikigaku Maru live has been a yearly experience, from the time that they played at the Soup Kitchen in Manchester to a handful of people, to an intimate show at the Eagle Inn in Salford where there was about 50 people in attendance, and to them playing a filled out show at the Gorilla in Manchester. So Kikigaku Maru for me is one of the most consistent and polished live acts I've ever seen live. And what was cool about that night was that they did a really awesome solid jam at the beginning. They opened up with it. It was amazing. The set list they played was also incredible as well. For me, Kikigaku Maru will always be an experience to see live. They deliver the goods no matter how big the crowd is, whether it's small or sold out or whatever. They just bring the goods. So this was courtesy of my friend telling me a spare ticket he had, which gave me the opportunity to see Iron Maiden live other than at a festival. This was part of the Legacy of the Beast tour, which was a good thing because it meant that they weren't just going to play stuff from Book of Souls, which isn't a bad album, but when you want to see Iron Maiden, you want to hear like the classics. So it was amazing to see Bruce Dickinson dart from each end of the stage with just furious energy, and also he took a spill and fell over and he just got up like it was nothing, so props to Bruce Dickinson. So yeah, the set list was incredible. The stage, the actual the theatrics of the stage was absolutely incredible as well. So yeah, it was a real memorable gig. This gig reminded me of how chaotic gigs can be and how fun it is. While I Hate God didn't really have the best sound, I think the lead singer, Mike Williams, was constantly pointing at the monitor saying, "Look, it's broken." The crowd was still going mental. There was stage diving, there was crowd surfing, and there was a big fuck-off pit behind me, which I had to join in at. So yeah, I Hate God was incredible live then. So this was the gig that inspired me to do videos about my thoughts on live music. So I've seen Carpenter Brew once before at the now defunct Sound Control. Rest in peace. So it was amazing to see them play at a much bigger venue at the Academy 2 in Manchester, and I think it's thoroughly deserved. And from what I can remember, the set list was incredible, playing stuff from Trilogy and from the new album Leather Teeth, which I might not have been a fan of, but still it was good to hear him live. And also there was a memorable sing-along to Africa by Toto, which was incredible before they came on. So, the final entry on this video, and Yob have been a band for me that are quite emotionally intense with some of their beautiful songs, and also being skull-crushingly heavy with their riffs. And that's what I like about them live, because they find a very delicate balance between the two. They can get you headbanging to like songs like Ablaze and The Screen, and also welling up to songs like Our Raw Heart and Marrow, which was, I was like welling up to them songs and also headbanging. It was an incredible experience to see them live and see them play them songs so well. So, there you have it. Those are my favourite gigs of 2018. What were your favourite gigs of 2018? Please let me know below in the comments. If you like this video, please like and subscribe. It really helps me out. So, my next video, I don't know what that's going to be on. If you've got any ideas of what you want me to talk about, please let me know in the comments as well. So, all I've got left to say to you guys is, I've been the dude who talks, and cheers. Now, you haven't got rid of me just yet. I'm just going to introduce you that there's some more videos out there that I've made, and a couple of them will be floating around here, below my chin. So, make like Netflix and watch them.